We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Nik Needham, Miami Dolphins cornerback. I love the versatility and the depth that he brings to the secondary. He can really play any position back there, like from outside corner to nickel to safety. He's done it all for the Dolphins, coming to this team. He's been a big part of it, big part of the secondary for years now. He's coming off the injury, so he really does need to come back healthy. But after, what happened to Ramsey, he's going to be out till December. Needham coming back is going to be very, very important. He'll definitely play a big role. I feel like they're going to use a mixture of things to replace him, being, Nik Needham, Cater Kohu, Cam Smith. They're all going to be needed to play a big role. They can all play multiple spots in the secondary. And then they're also going to, I think, use three safety for like backfields, and then have like Holland come down, be a little more involved, taking the Ramsey spot. So multiple different ways to replace him, but Needham, good on the outside. He can play man to man. He has a lot of experience playing man to man. He has the athleticism, good feel there as well. But I really, in this Fangio defense, playing a lot of zone. I'm gonna focus on that too. I think he's got good instincts, but that nice coverage versatility as well to play multiple different coverages. He's very physical too. Just love that energy he brings to the secondary. So hopefully he can come back healthy this season. This was the end of the game against the Bills. You can tell both sides are just extremely tired because the Dolphins defense played so many snaps in this game. It was like a ridiculous amount, and this is like the final drive. Just working vertically versus Gabe Davis in cover one. He doesn't really have help here over the top. They're leaning to the field side. He's to the boundary. He does a good job, good technique, good, hand placement to that inside shoulder like that, and just keeps himself in good position. And once he sees Davis' head go around early and he's in this upfield shoulder position, he knows to turn into the receiver and play this as like a back shoulder. He knew exactly what was coming, so really nice, instincts there to play this. And then he plays right through the hands to finish, so good ball skills as well. He's, he'll have some on-ball production for the team. Just a solid player all around. Love to see him being able to play man-to-man. You got to be able to play man-to-man in this league. Even, Fangio runs a ton of zone coverages. He will still play with, man-match techniques. So you still got to be able to do those types of things. It's a mix and match of these coverages. So Needham, I think, fits it pretty well, as we'll get into some of his zone reps here pretty early on. We got Needham at the bottom of the screen, and we're playing cover three, and he's to the field side here, so he's got all this space to sideline, and this is such an impressive play to me. Obviously, he doesn't get targeted, nothing, maybe not too crazy on your first look, but when you're, the outside corner, deep third responsibility, and, get out of this, and look how he, takes this inside leverage versus, this deep receiver, just based on alignment. He starts cheating to the inside, sees that the number two is still working vertically, and he starts to, feel number one sink his hips, and he is able to get over the top of the seam right here. And you see Jones is trying to rip this. The seam is one of the weakest parts, that offenses will attack versus cover three, because, they have the deep third. You can attack down the seam. That's, a vulnerability of the coverage. And he's able to get over the top of this, make Jones come off that read down the field. That's an impressive play for the outside corner to get to that seam, to not even make them throw it. So impressive instincts processing on this play by Needham. He just does a great job feeling that the number one's going to sink. Van Ginkel's supposed to get out to the flat here. He doesn't end up throwing it, but great job by Needham getting over the top, maintaining his responsibility, doing some really excellent work there that most corners will not get into that position. And, just it makes me feel comfortable how he's going to look in Fangio's defense. Got Needham right here, down in the red zone. They're basically running cover two, so he's just being like a cloud corner, just to his side of the field, reading the running back. We'll go back, break this down a little more slowly. They have, this tight alignment here from Hunter Henry, the tight end. So he's to the backside of this, and the number one is Henry, and number two is the running back to his side of the field. So he's just reading this through 1 to 2. Sees one release vertically up the field. He knows he can, break behind him, but he has help over the top with the safety, and he sees the running back come down to the flat. So once he sees Jones release, he just gets down, quickly transitions, makes this nice tackle. He's willing to get physical. He's not like the strongest player on the field, but he's definitely plays with a feisty play style, competitive toughness out there, and then that's really nice transitional ability to get downhill, instincts as well to maintain that leverage and then come down, limit this gain. Really important, I think, when a cornerback can tackle and make those consistent types of plays. Love the discipline on this play. Dolphins in cover three again. Needham definitely comfortable in this area. Obviously, they're going to be running a lot of quarters. There's some things that can translate from that as well, like quarters, cover six. But Fangio, were games where, in his, they just run like a lot of cover 3. He definitely mixes that in as well. But he just understands based on this alignment right here. He's to the backside of this 3x1. He's a deep third. This guy's in a tight alignment, and once he sees him, start to release the inside, he's dragging. He doesn't just sit over here and cover grass. Some guys will, be either undisciplined and chase. That's, uncommon. That's, not a great play. And some guys will just sit over here and cover grass, but he knows there's the opposite side of the field. A guy will usually come crossing, and he just waits, gets over to take this away. Doesn't just sit over here, cover grass, but starts cheating towards it, takes this away, and then waits for him to come once he's in a good position. So just really excellent play from the backside corner position. Something that, a lot of guys aren't always doing. They're usually just, when you watch a lot of corners, they're usually just sitting there covering grass. Needham is one of those guys who can be like a really good depth piece, but also come in and just be one of your solid starters. I think, depending on how Cam Smith develops and Needham's injury goes, like he could be one of the top 3 guys. Even if he's, not one of the top 3 guys with Ramsey out, he'll be one of the top 4 guys, and you're definitely going to get playing time. At least, I would say, like 20, 30 snaps a game out of Needham. Maybe more, especially as he recovers from his injury. Top of the screen, we got Nik Needham versus Ja'Marr Chase. He did a pretty decent job in this game versus Chase. He was on Chase a decent amount, and this is just a press rep. He stays physical. He stays square. This is just good technique. He gets a 2-hand jam on him. We've seen him use some 1-hand jam here early on, but here a 2-hand jam, staying square. He starts to work to the inside. He overmatches the pace, and once maybe he gets a little too over the top, maybe overextending, he does a great job with his footwork to mirror match, get this back to the outside, and now he gets that 1 hand to the inside chest, to the left shoulder right there, and makes himself in a perfect position. Basically just gives Ja'Marr Chase no chance on this rep, and they go to the opposite side of the field. Really excellent work, just neutralizing Chase off the line of scrimmage and just absolutely throwing off the timing of all of that. Got Needham at the bottom of the screen versus Chase again. This time a little more of a soft press look where he's, not getting hands-on because he's a little bit farther off the line of scrimmage, and Chase kind of just burns him on a speed release, but he does a great job recovering, not panicking. This is very important, I think, to DB play. You're not going to always win every single rep, especially early on. Sometimes you're going to get beat. You got to stay poised, and he's just, good speed to, not get completely ran out of this, and then the ball gets slightly underthrown, so he gets to come back in phase, and a lot of times guys will get overly aggressive here, get this PI. Maybe you could call it here, but he just plays through the hands at the catch point. Pretty good timing. Doesn't go through Chase before the ball happens to hit his hands. He just goes up, matches him perfectly, plays through the hands, swipe down. Pretty good play there from Needham without getting, over aggressive at the catch point, staying poised, staying cool. And then, he does his signature hand movement. He's got long arms here as well for his, he's not the biggest corner, he's not the smallest corner, but he's got pretty good length to him, which I think is important, especially if you're playing press. Really just want to point out this play because this is something you will definitely see Fangio mix into his defense. I remember seeing, the Broncos doing this a little bit, the man match, where this is something that you don't always see a ton of because they don't always, it just usually seems like man-to-man, but when it actually does happen, basically, he's in man-to-man except when he breaks to the inside. If this guy breaks to the inside and it can pass off to the robber here, it's not man-to-man anymore. You then become the robber. So man-match coverage, he's man everywhere else unless he breaks to the inside towards the robber defender, and then he becomes the new robber. He sinks, and he takes away this throwing lane long enough to where Wilson is looking down to throw this over the middle. He's helping take this away, that then the sack is able to happen sitting right there. So it's not like anything crazy there from Needham, but it's nice to see him understanding what that coverage is, exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and then coming off, breaking this down. You can see it a little bit better from, look at Wilson staring this down as, Needham is breaking this off, and it makes him hesitate and not want to rip this, and it ends up helping get this sack. So really good work, and it just shows, the coverage versatility, understanding of the defense that Needham has. This is a 4th and 1 here, and they throw the fade to Corey Davis. They get the one-on-one with Needham. He's in a soft press look. He does a pretty good job there with his feet and hips recovering. He kind of, falls for the initial move here a little bit with that hard stab to the inside. He'll take a little bit, of a false step right there. Be able to flip his hips, get back into positioning, plays this really well. They go for the back shoulder. He's just feeling what the receiver is doing, feeling this well, and then he's ready to play through the hands. The ball's not very accurately thrown, but Needham does a great job just staying in position. The guy wants the PI call, but Needham does a pretty good job. He'll get some PI calls here and there, but he does a pretty good job of still being physical, but not overly doing it to always draw that PI. Just impressive work there to play through. He might get there like he maybe gets there a lit tick early, but it's not over the top. But he's ready to play through those hands. Really impressive play to play through that back shoulder. More good work by Needham, especially in a clutch situation on a 4th and 1. Needham I've shown a lot of him playing on the outside in this film because that's where he played mostly through this past season. But in years past, he was always more of a nickel. I think him and, Kohu are going to be like guys that are definitely playing down in the slot a lot. Cam Smith also, but they're going to have to be playing outside too. Here, he does a good job down in the slot. They rotate this pretty nicely. They end up, motioning down and then working this switch release. Good communication by Howard and Needham here to pass this off, and he ends up getting now, Jefferson, and he just plays this in trail technique, knows he has help over the top, and the safety being directly over the top. He's with this outside leverage, low shoulder positioning, and he just stays underneath it the whole time, reading the hips of Jefferson to take this away. Really good work in trail with the safety help over the top, just completely neutralize that. Another understanding of different, coverage techniques that are used. Needham pretty advanced in a lot of those areas. Last play that I'm going to break down, this is going back to some 2021 film to see Needham play some safety. He played some safety back in this season, especially for the Panthers. He was playing safety a decent amount in this game, and he had multiple plays where he was like, that buzz defender robbing the middle of the field. He's very comfortable with this. Just nice to see him. He made multiple plays exactly like this where he would just come downfield, close over the middle. Just good job. He's on the backside of the 3x1. He's, opening his hips to this side of the field, looking like he's trying to bait the QB here, I feel like. Opening his hips to this side, looking like he might drop into a deep half. This is really good baiting, and then once he does it, he closes instantly to take away, if this is going to be a dig or, to the backside 3. And once he sees 3 break towards the middle of the field and he's reading the QB's eyes, he's ready to break on this, takes a great angle, good closing burst, and then hits the tight end at the point of attack, without overdoing it, and he gets a nice solid hit in there, but he doesn't, draw the penalty as well. So good, heads up play. Love this work from him. This is a very nuanced play. I like him. I liked his work as a safety. He's a pretty solid safety out there. So he could be your 4th safety and your 4th corner right now, while also, if needed, bumping up into an easy starter in those roles, being like the 3rd corner out there, playing nickel or on the outside very effectively. Wouldn't be surprised, you see some safety at some point as well, just with how the defense goes with some injuries, things like that. But really love that heads-up play there from Needham. Love what he could bring to this team with the versatility and depth to both, position groups back there. And he's willing to get physical, throw a shoulder in there, instinctive, athletic player. Just hope he can get back from the injury. So if you guys are the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to